Hi, I'm Dr. Rob Stevenson, and I want to welcome you to WKAR's new workshop series, The Curious Crew Roadshow. I'm busy working on new episodes of Curious Crew, so Mrs. Pizzo will be your host for this virtual event featuring fun and exciting science, technology, engineering, and mathematics investigations. And of course, the Curious Crew is ready to tackle these investigations with her. So let's get started. And remember, my friends, stay curious and keep experimenting.
Learning in Michigan has changed. The Michigan Learning Channel now allows learning from anywhere. On air, online, on demand, and it's all available statewide for free to students, parents, and teachers from Michigan's public television stations. For more information, visit michiganlearning.org.
Welcome to WKAR's Curious Crew Roadshow. I'm Mrs. Pizzo, and I'm so glad you're here with us today. I'm also glad to have members of the Curious Crew with us. Say hello, Curious Crew.
Hello.
Hi. Great. How about you introduce yourselves, tell us your grade, and also tell us how long you've been on Curious Crew.
I'm Carmela. I'm in 10th grade, and I've been on Curious Crew for 4 years.
I'm Kyrese, and I've been on Curious Crew for 3 years, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Finney. I'm in 8th grade, and I've been on the show for around 5 years.
Now, crew, tell us your favorite candy and why it's your favorite.
My favorite is all kinds of chocolate because they all taste really good.
My favorite is Sour Patch Kids because they're both sour and sweet.
My favorite is any candy that comes internationally because it's always a new experience.
Yummy. All of those sound delicious. I hope you're ready to explore more about candy chemistry with the Sweet STEM investigation.
Hi, I'm Rob Stevenson, and this is
Curious Crew!
That's right, this is Curious Crew, and we always like to start every episode with a couple of discrepant events, because discrepant events stimulate
Curiosity!
That's exactly right, and this is a really curious bunch. Now, I've got some interesting discrepant events for you today, and you'll notice I've got some different hard candies here. How many of you like gobstoppers? Oh yeah, those are really tasty. Now I'm gonna take some gobstoppers. I've got an orange one, and I've got this little yellow one. I got this little green one over there, and finally this little purple one. I'm just gonna leave those there for a minute while I talk to you about what I have right here. I have two different kinds of candies. I've got one over here, and this candy has a little S printed on it. And these candies over here, and those little candies have an M printed on it. And I'm just gonna drop these inside the cup, just like that. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Now this cup is just water, so no big deal. All right, and we'll let those sit for just a moment. And the fun part is, if you try this at home, it's great to have the candies so the letters are facing up. If the letters are facing up, that actually really does help. Now, while these start to dissolve, I want to show you the two cups I started right before the show. You'll notice we've got some things going on right here. And Helen, can you do me a favor? Take a look in this cup and tell me what you see.
There are little M's floating around.
There are little M's floating around inside that cup. Okay, very nice. And what do you see over in this one, Catherine? What do you see?
Little S's.
Little S's. So I have little S's floating over here, and I have little M's floating over. Now you guys realize you eat those. Okay, that's kind of strange. Now take a look at what's going on over there with my gobstopper. Oh yeah, isn't that so pretty? It's lovely. Now notice the little quadrant colors. And do you notice how you can actually see them as quadrants?
Yeah.
Now that's kind of bizarre, don't you think? In fact, that's kind of like a good discrepant event. Now, these things all have something in common. Does anybody have a guess what this episode is going to be about? Cameron, what do you think, Cameron?
Candy.
Oh, what made you think that? Cameron, candy, I love it. And this one is really going to be a sweet show. I would encourage you to stick around. We'll explain how these work, and we've got some other really delightful experiments that you can try with some candy chemistry. Stick around. And there's more water.
Curious Crew teaches kids that science isn't boring, it's fun.
It is awesome.
Curious Crew reinforced my interest of science.
It just left a positive feeling about science on me.
We get some fizzy action.
Made me more likely to do something related to science in the future.
I'm interested in studying nuclear physics, finding new ways and alternatives to power our homes and to power our cities.
I really want to go to college and major in computer information technology.
I think one of the paths that I'm looking at as a career is computer programming and design, but I definitely would not have become interested in that if I hadn't been exposed to so much science through Curious Crew.
I love science. Doing this made me realize, like, yeah, I want to do stuff like this for my entire life, you know?
Are you curious about careers in science?
Hi, it's Jenilyn, and today I'm here with architectural designer Tiffany Brown. Where are we today?
Today we are at Smith Group JJR located in downtown Detroit. My job as project manager is managing people, managing construction, making sure that things are properly coordinated between architects and contractors to create a beautiful building. A typical workday for an architectural designer can include lots of things. There's a lot of sitting in front of a computer and using technology to create a building within a virtual reality type of space. This is what we call a rendering. It's a computer-aided generation of an image. We would use this for presenting it to a client. My favorite style of architecture is Art Deco. The building that we're standing in right now, the Guardian building, I like to refer to it as Art Deco heaven. Wow. Those are the kinds of things I like to incorporate when I'm designing. The architecture here in Detroit, especially downtown, is very historic.
How do you get kids, particularly girls, interested in architecture?
I recently launched a program called 400 Forward that I'm using to introduce girls in inner cities to architecture. Sometimes we do design and build at the same time. Kids need to understand that architecture is a cool career to go into.
What parts of STEM do you use in architecture?
In architecture, we do a lot of studying of physics, lots of technology. We like the acronym STEAM, where we insert an A for art and architecture. Colors are very important to making a building work. Art can be lots of things. It could be creative writing. It could be learning music. Those types of things also help you understand math and science on a different level as well. The most rewarding part of my job is watching a building under construction that I've spent a lot of time investing in drawing and researching. To see it in physical form is the rewarding part of architecture for me.
It was a constructive day today with architectural designer Tiffany Brown. Explore your possibilities.
We're investigating pop rock inflation. First, let's review the materials. A package of pop rocks, a balloon, a funnel, a full 16-ounce bottle of soda or pop, and a table where you can do your investigation. Let's show a thumbs up, Curious Crew, if you're all set with those items. Great. Next, I will go over the procedures. Then our Curious Crew will get started on the investigation, talking us through their process. And remember, you at home can also complete this investigation and many others by visiting www.wakar.org/curiouscrew/curiosity guides. First, safety. Remember, wearing safety glasses protects your eyes. Then you're gonna open the package of pop rocks. Place the narrow end of the funnel into the neck of the deflated balloon. Pour the pop rocks from the package into the funnel so that the pop rocks fall into the balloon. Keep the balloon bag of pop rocks to the side and stretch just the neck of the balloon over the top of the bottle. Be sure not to poke a hole in the balloon as you stretch over the bottleneck. Carefully lift the balloon bag up so that the pop rocks fall into the soda. All right, Curious Crew, you may begin. And remember, talk us through your investigation.
Make sure you get it on there tight. You don't want any shenanigans going on.
What flavor are you using, Penny?
I'm using the cotton candy flavor.
And how about you, Carmela?
I'm using the grape flavor.
All of those sound yummy. Tyrese, what happens when you open up the soda pop?
You can see the bubbles start to fizz, and you can hear the sizzling of all the carbon dioxide stuck in the bottle starting to release.
Everyone's putting their balloons onto their pop bottlenecks. And Kyrese, are you all ready to pour your Pop Rocks into the soda?
Yep.
All right.
Make sure that all the Pop Rocks get into the soda.
What do you notice, Kyrese?
I noticed that once you do pour the Pop Rocks in, the balloon does start to inflate and stick up.
All right, Carmela, let's see yours. And what do you notice, Carmela?
I'm also noticing that the balloon is starting to inflate when you put the Pop Rocks in the soda.
And Finney, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Is yours standing all by itself, Finney?
It is. I also noticed that there is gas running into the balloon.
Very cool. I also hear something happening in your investigation. What is it that I hear?
What you hear is the Pop Rocks in the soda, and they're reacting with the carbon dioxide to form the gas that fills the balloon.
Exactly. They are actually what? Popping, right? Carmela, your balloon is pretty large. Very cool. Nice job, everyone. Wasn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Now, let's watch Dr. Rob's investigation and pay attention to the differences and similarities of the two experiments. I'll ask a few questions afterwards.
So here is a great candy chemistry activity to do outside and with adult supervision. Now, in front of us, we have a diet soda, right? And it has not been opened, so it's brand new. Now, what is in that diet soda besides that soda? Carbonation, carbon dioxide, and as soon as I unscrew that cap, we're gonna release those bubbles, aren't we? Now, I also have a whole test tube here full of mint candies. Now, mint candies, one of the delights of mint candies is that there are these pockets all over the candies that will do something very interesting when we submerge this into the diet soda. Okay, what do you think is gonna happen when we submerge all, I think there are 13 of these mints into the diet soda all at once? Okay, so Emerson, do me a favor, hold that and this little note card for me, and I'll tell you what that note card is for. And I'm just gonna put my goggles on my forehead for just a minute, and yeah, you can hear that start to go. Okay, I'm just gonna set the cap down, and already Alex is wisely going, okay, I'm not sure if I'm gonna stand next to this thing. That would be a wise call. Now, you'll notice I've got this note card up on top, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the note card, and when I pull the note card, guess what we're gonna do? Run. Move! Are you guys ready? Yeah. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go! Ah! All right, let's talk about what just happened there. Go! Ah! So let's explain the science behind this. Remember those little pockets I told you about on the candies?
Yeah.
Okay. When we drop those candies in, the carbon dioxide bubbles start to cling to the pockets. Now imagine one bubble clings, and another bubble, and another bubble, and another bubble. That's a big bubble, right? And in fact, yes. And so they are just rushed with all that carbon dioxide gas rushing to those air pockets. And suddenly, once they're all those bubbled mints, we have major foam that comes straight out. And that went pretty high. Now you might be wondering, why did I use diet soda? Why do you guys think?
Less sticky.
Yes, it is way less sticky, because if I use regular cola, it's all that sugar, and so it would be so sticky and such a horrible mess. Now, this is definitely an activity to do outside, right?
Yeah.
Definitely an outside activity. Now, those candies are still inside the bottle. And you know what else? We could actually reuse those candies and do it again, because the carbonation and the acid has actually made even more little pits on the candy, so it would actually work even better. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
This is one you have to try with family outside, and it really is fun. A diet soda geyser? Blast off.
What did you notice as a similarity between the candy geyser and the pop rock inflation? Let's start with you, Benny.
I noticed that both experiments created a bit of foam at the top of the bottle, which expanded outward.
All right. How about you, Kyrese?
I noticed that they both had a reaction in a positive and I noticed that the one in Mr. Dr. Rob's was a lot bigger than ours.
Okay. And Carmela.
I noticed that in both experiments, when you added the candy to the soda, it made kind of an explosion and released a gas or more liquid.
Yes. Now, Carmela, can you tell us what you noticed as a difference between the two investigations?
I noticed that in this investigation, when we added the candy to the soda, it inflated the balloon with a gas. But in the other investigation, when we added candy to the soda, it released like liquid and it sprayed out of the bottle.
Right. What about you, Kyrese? Did you notice any kind of differences in the two investigations?
Yeah, I noticed a big difference. When you pour the Pop Rocks into the soda, it dissolves. When you pour the Mentos into the Coke, it doesn't. So
that is a big difference. And what about you, Benny? Were there any differences that you noticed between the two investigations?
I noticed that the investigation that we did compared to the investigation that Dr. Rob did was a little more toned down.
Yes.
A little less kaboom, if you will.
I don't know if your parents would appreciate the kaboom right in your homes, right? You would be cleaning pop off the walls for days, right? All right, those were great reflections of both investigations. Well, that wraps up this episode of Curious Crew Roadshow. I hope you'll join us next time where inquisitive kids take a hands-on approach to investigating principles of science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, on the road. And remember,
stay curious
and keep experimenting. See you later.
Bye.
Are you feeling curious?
Yeah!
Are you guys
guys having fun this morning?
Curious Crew started when Susie Elkins saw me present doing a keynote, and she had a brainstorm.
I saw him get an award, and the parents treated him like a rock star. They just loved that he was able to inspire a love for science in their children, and it was that inspired me to want to make a show with him.
What do you notice?
Gosh, this is crazy.
What do you notice?
Being on the show with Dr. Rob is really cool.
Oh, that was awesome! I have a reputation of doing a lot of hands-on investigations.
Oh, yes!
A lot of the experiments are really simple stuff you'd have lying around in your kitchen or in a craft room.
And it's using those materials to teach these different concepts.
Oh, that was good! Ultimately, we want the kids to work through science and engineering practices, what scientists actually do to be able to understand the concepts that we're exploring.
You do a science experiment to see what happens, meaning a quote-unquote failure is also a result too.
Whenever we have a project like this and things don't go well, what would we do? Redesign it, absolutely right.
Being on Curious Crew made me realize that science is all around us.
Science isn't boring, it's fun.
We get some fizzy action!
Rob's passion for science is contagious.
Dr. Rob has a lot of energy on set.
Energy in motion!
That energy, it transfers to the cast members.
Curious Crew has a roadshow element as well, and we'll go to schools, we'll go to fairs, we'll go to different events.
I didn't want it to just be 10 shows and we're done. I wanted the children that were involved with it to feel inspired and empowered to go out and talk about their love of science. And we've created curiosity guides, the lesson plan behind each of the investigations in the show. Parents and teachers can download them from the website and use them on their own.
It is awesome. This show really makes science and engineering accessible, and it helps children realize that if this is something they're passionate about, they could do this for a lifetime. We can have a lot of fun with pulleys, don't you guys think? Yeah!
At the end of every show, we point at the camera and say,
Stay curious!
And keep experimenting.
There's so many ways that science touches our lives, and if you don't stay curious, you could totally miss out on those.
Remember, my friends, stay curious.
Stay curious.
Stay curious.
Stay curious.
And keep experimenting.
And keep experimenting.
That's gonna go at the end.